Next, we look at the urea cycle, which will be described in the few slides to come. The urea is made up of the one contributing by the free ammonium, and then also the other amino group contributed by the amino acid aspartate, while the carbon given by the bicarbonate ion. So that is the structure of urea as shown in the slide before this. When it comes to the ureothelic organism, such as mammal, human included, they dispose the free ammonium ion after being converted to urea, while other organism been described in the next slide. When it comes to the urea cycle itself, this is one of the three cyclic pathways that you have learned. The other two cyclic pathways are the Krebs cycle as well as the Calvin cycle. Interestingly, this cycle, the urea cycle, has also been discovered by the same person, that is Hans Krebs. So here summarize in terms of how the excess of ammonium is excreted out into the environment so that it is not toxic to the body of the organism. In terms of how it is excreted, there are three forms. One, urea, that is for the ureathalic animals, terrestrial vertebrates, such as rat or even humans. Then you have the urecothalic animals, such as birds. Birds are migratory animals, therefore they need to go from one area to next area a long distance. Therefore, they tend to use energy not only from carbohydrate, also up to the level of using protein, amino acid. And therefore, since a lot of use of amino acid for energy, there will be also a lot of release of ammonium ion. And therefore, they need to find a way to remove excess of ammonium ion before it becomes toxic. And the form that is useful for that purpose is actually in the form of uric acid, where it can dispose for double the amount of nitrogen compared to just being urea. Then you have also the aquatic animals, such as fish, where they do not have a reason to convert to become urea or uric acid, because as soon as ammonia is produced, it can be immediately disposed from their body into liquid environment surrounding them, and therefore immediately it can be diffused away from their body, and that is the water environment. So there's disposal is just by ammonia itself. Here shown the symptoms of ammonia intoxication, as well as what causes the ammonia intoxication. In terms of the cause, it is definitely the failure in the important organ relevant for urea cycle, that is liver. So if anything to go wrong to liver, therefore excess of ammonia could build up in the body. And then also in terms of the urea cycle itself, perhaps one or two enzymes, crucial enzyme in the urea cycle being defective, it could also lead to accumulation of ammonia, and that could be intoxicating. The symptoms of intoxicating can start from mild up to the level of being really toxic to the body, that is coma and also death could come about. The symptoms include anorexia, that is a person who losing weight, uncontrolled loss of weight, and further on you have other symptoms also been shown here. This slide is just a repeat of what's already been described to you. It's just referring back that excess of ammonia is highly toxic, and it has to be brought to the liver to be detoxified by converting to urea in the urea cycle, and also other tissues such as brain, intestine, muscle also need to utilize free amino acid. However, the free ammonium ion that is released will be brought to liver by the transport form of ammonia, that is glutamine and alanine, to be detoxified. Here given the urea cycle summary, and this diagram I think I have utilized it for final exam already twice, and it has been used in assessing the students. You can check the final exam question on how I have asked question for final exam. But basically, the urea cycle described in this diagram shown it happens in the mitochondria as well as the cytoplasma, and the end result, it prevents hyperammonia. Just to briefly describe it, you have the bicarbonate ion, the carbon part of it is reacted with the free ammonia to become carbonyl phosphate by one single enzyme having three active sites that cause three steps to be done to produce at the end carbonyl phosphate. The carbonyl phosphate will react with ornithine to form citrulline. Citrulline goes from mitochondria to cytoplasma to react with aspartate to build something which is much larger, arginosuccinate, and this will then break into fumarate and arginine, and eventually arginine breaks even further to become urea as well as ornithine. Ornithine goes back and repeats this cycle. So here, once the urea is the end product, it will be then secreted mostly in the kidney, that means as urine, as well as small amount, that is 5% in the feces. I also have provided URL links on the YouTube videos that gives you further description of this urea cycle.